Last night then, a point for Spurs edges them closer to safety, but there is still time for more twists and turns. Here is our Spurs versus West Ham relegation tracker. You've got months of the season in the horizontal and the cumulative points there in the vertical. Now you can see, if we take a look down here, the uptick in points from the game against Brighton, then those back-to-back wins against Wolves and Villa for Spurs in the dark blue line there. Now the point against Leeds takes them to 38. 2 behind in the bottom 3 are West Ham. Our predicted safety line remains at 40 points. The survival line, the highest it's been in more than a decade. It's pretty clear what our data partners at Opta think is the likely outcome of the season. With 2 games to go, it's West Ham with an 81.3% chance of going down. And as I mentioned earlier, this season really is unusual because of the required points to survive. We can see here how the points needed to stay up has changed over time. Now going all the way back to 1995-96 there, up until the end of last season on the far right-hand side. The vertical bars that you can see show the points required to survive, and the red line is the rolling average. You can see actually that's starting to come down as the years progress, but you have to go back to 2010-11 here with the safety line at that 40-point mark, which was always the magic number needed. Wolves stayed up on that total, with Birmingham going down on 39 there in 2010-11. West Ham, though, went down with 42 in 2002-03. That is a massive total. If West Ham win both of their remaining games, their total will be 42. Is that an omen for this season and West Ham and their hopes for survival in the Premier League, Bella?
So, look, lots of expectation last night, Clinton, that Tottenham would pull out of danger. It's not happened. Big opportunity missed?
Yeah, massive opportunity, especially being 1-0 up as well. Tell scores a brilliant goal, and then I do not know for the life of me why he's trying to do an overhead kick in his box. Like, that's just a striker trying to defend. That's like asking me to go back and do that. But you know Ampadu's coming in at pace. And I know he can't see him, but why are you trying an overhead kick in that position for? So, yeah, a huge mistake. And then, listen, they've struggled at home, Tottenham. They've struggled at home all season.
Why is that?
Been nowhere near good enough, and that's plain and simple. The reason Tottenham are in this position, because their home form has been ridiculously bad, nowhere near good enough. And it's not a fluke that you're near the bottom of the table. It's because over the period of games, they've been nowhere near good enough at home. Absolutely nowhere near good enough. And Leeds weren't at their best, and most Leeds fans will tell you, but they got the point, and it still keeps West Ham in it, to be fair. Because if Tottenham had won that, I would have said West Ham are probably... They're not mathematically down, but in my head, they would have been down because the 4 points would have been big for them to catch up.
What about James Maddison's penalty shout? That was another big call from the officials. Was it the right one?
Yeah, it's a hard one, you know, because in the match, when you look at the replay of it, like, in one replay, like that replay, I'm thinking penalty. I'm shouting at penalty. But then you can see here, he does get a bit of the ball. So VAR have all the angles where they can see it. But you know what? The ball don't really move that much. So that is why people are saying, does he get enough of it? I think if the referee makes the decision, Bella, on field and gives a penalty, VAR don't overturn it. So they don't overturn it. But where he's not made the decision on the field, that's why VAR have not said to him, oh, go and have a look at the monitor. So they've stuck with what the referee's done, really and truly. So they believe it's not enough to overturn it. So you can understand why that. It's totally different from the West Ham and Arsenal, because the West Ham and Arsenal was a clear foul. Where this one, you're still not sure how many times you look at it. But I do think the Metcha does get a touch. And everyone knows I've got a lot of love for Tottenham and I wanted the penalty, but the Metcha does get a touch on the ball.
OK, look, you mentioned West Ham. They're at Newcastle on Super Sunday. I mean, they will be on the floor after what happened against Arsenal. How do they pull it together from there?
They were good. Listen, in different moments, Fernandes goes through before Arsenal scored a goal, you know, and Fernandes has a great opportunity to score, and he takes a heavy touch. Raya makes an unbelievable save. I was at Forest Newcastle on the weekend. Newcastle played all right, but defensively, they're always conceding goals at the moment. So West Ham have got to go there and think, we've got 2 cup finals. where possibly we need to get 6 points from both of those games. But you never know. Tottenham go to Chelsea, which Chelsea are not doing Tottenham no favours. That is a London rivalry.
That
is a massive game, so not doing them no favours.
That could be the biggest Chelsea versus Spurs since Battle of the Bridge.
Yeah, it could be.
10 years ago, that was.
I know, 10 years ago.
I mean, I was obviously very young to remember that. But that was a crazy game. And
it was a crazy game.
This could be...
And I think this will be the same, because all the stakes that are on it, in particular for Tottenham, massive stakes for them. And, yeah, and you know what it is? West Ham have the advantage. Go and play first, West Ham, and then if West Ham get the 3 points, go ahead of Tottenham, a point ahead. Over to you, Tottenham. What are you going to do? It will go down to the last game of the season. I think whatever happens this weekend, I can see it going down to the last game of the season, which is really exciting. That's what we want in the league. Maybe not for Tottenham and West Ham fans, but we want to watch that.
We live for the drama, don't we? So
let's get to a new interview with Tottenham Hotspur midfielder James Maddison, who made his return from a serious knee injury in the 1-0 draw with Leeds last night. He's been out all season and says it's been tough not being able to help in their battle to avoid relegation. Spurs are 2 points ahead of West Ham in 18th with 2 games of the season left.
You watch through a lens of like, what would I be doing? I'd be helping. Or what could I do differently to? Well, it's been a tough season, hasn't it, for Tottenham? Really tough for the fans, really tough for the players. Lots of manager changes. It's been a season to forget, really, and not being able to affect it and actually help the club has been difficult. I always try and help anyway, you know. Like, I think I'm one of the more vocal ones in the changing room. Being English and being from this country and knowing what it means to the fans, I feel like I can feel that and portray that in a way to the players who are from other countries or don't speak the language so perfectly, or younger players who maybe don't understand as much as I do. I just try and help. I just say whatever I feel like will help the team and the individual players. And if that's leadership, that's leadership. I'll always try and do that no matter what.
Well, this was the moment Maddison made his return from injury by a standing ovation at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. He says he wasn't able to enjoy the moment too much, however, given Spurs were in desperate need of 3 points.
Once I was out there and once the first kind of like 30 seconds to a minute had kind of got by, it was right now. I'm on the pitch. We need to try and get a winner here. Like, the nice moment kind of gone. That is almost straight down to business. I think I'd rather be safe and come on and enjoy and build up slowly, but that's not the situation we're in. And when you're on the pitch, you kind of forget about everything else anyway. Once the adrenaline starts going and you get your first touch and stuff, it's just another game, and I felt really good. Yeah.
Well, we'll bring you what former Spurs midfielder Jamie O'Hara made of last night's match later at this hour. Alan Smith was commentating on the game, joins us live now. Alan, good to speak to you. Did it feel like a bit of an opportunity missed for Spurs then last night?
Yeah, I think they would have felt like that. Certainly the fans would have as well. When you go a goal up against a Leeds team that's not playing for anything solid, you're hoping you can see it out, aren't you? Of course. And it was a fantastic goal as well, wasn't it, for Maddison? One of those where you think, well, that's deserving of winning most matches. But obviously what he did down the other end wasn't quite so good. But, I mean, this was a fantastic take. And in these next few games, you're going to need something a little bit special. Reminding me of Doku, actually, for Manchester City. He keeps doing that. But, yeah, they could do with a bit more of that and a bit less of what he did in his own box.
What was the feeling like inside the stadium? Did you get a sense of nerves from the players and the fans?
You know, Joe, it wasn't too bad at the start. I mean, it was a fairly slow beginning for Spurs. But I think the fans now, because De Zerbi's there and they've got faith in him, they're not quite so on edge. They've got faith that the manager knows how to handle the situation. But obviously when Leeds get the penalty, then it gets nervy, especially as Leeds then look the more likely to get the winning goal. So the fans, there weren't any boos or anything. They were just kind of sat on their hands looking very nervous and being very quiet. I mean, Maddison, if he could relive that moment, I mean, he could have done anything but that. Go for the overhead kick. That's an emphatic penalty from Calvert-Lewin. He likes to put it that side, but he hit it hard and he hit it high. So, yeah, I mean, I think at the end of it, though, you know, this morning they've got to think, OK, West Ham lost, we've drawn, so that's another point in our favour. I think that's how you've got to look at it now.
Yeah, VAR has obviously been a big talking point over the last few days. We saw Spurs being denied a penalty late on in the game. We spoke to Jamie O'Hara earlier, said it should have been given. What was your take on it? Did VAR get it right?
Yeah, when I first saw it, I thought, oh yeah, that may be a penalty. Slow it down, and I do think Mecha gets the slightest of touches before he connects with James Maddison. I mean, it was another huge moment for VAR. They've had a couple in 2 days, haven't they? But I saw a touch there from the Leeds striker. Just enough of one to avoid the penalty. And of course, you know, the officials had to be strong in front of that south stand that were baying for the pen. But I do think they came to the right decision in the end.
We saw the goalkeeper, Kinski, making 2 stunning saves in the game as well. When you look at that, and even at the end of the season, might they reflect on that and say that that was the difference between staying up and going down?
Yeah, they might well. I mean, it's not often a keeper he can make one spectacular worldie save, but to do 2 in one game is some going. And what a turnaround for Antonin Kinski. We all remember his trials and tribulations against Atletico Madrid, people saying he'll never play for Spurs again. Will his career ever recover? Well, it has recovered, and he might just be a huge hero for Spurs. I mean, this second save is absolutely sensational. When we first saw it, we thought it was straight onto the crossbar. And then to see the replay, for him to get that right arm up so quickly, I mean, Longstaff has hit that with so much power from just a few yards away. That is an amazing save. I mean, it did remind me of the David Raya one against Mateus Fernandes the day before in terms of importance and what it might mean at the end of the season.
Yeah, we will get on to that shortly, but just staying with Spurs for now, they play Chelsea a week today. West Ham face a trip to Newcastle on Super Sunday. How do you see this relegation battle? Is it going to go down to the wire?
I mean, yeah, it's so difficult to predict, Joe. I mean, you would say Spurs are still in the box seat, 2 points ahead with 2 games to go with a better goal difference. Now, West Ham get a draw at Newcastle or even a win. Who knows? Newcastle have had a really disappointing season and there's lots of fights still in the hammers. Then all eyes on Stamford Bridge, and where Spurs haven't had a great record and Chelsea would love to beat them, I'm sure. So, I mean, so much still to play for. It looks like it might well come to the last day. And I've been doing this a fair while, and it's been a long time since we've had a Survival Sunday where it has come down to the last day. I mean, what drama and tension that would supply us.
Yeah, well, title race, they face both Manchester City and Arsenal. The club also need to prepare for the Conference League final as well. Well, Gary Cottrell joins us now from South London. Good afternoon to you, Gary. I mean, what a few weeks ahead it is for Crystal Palace. How crucial a match is tomorrow night against City?
Conference League final, a big European final, box ticked, that's done. Safe from relegation now, mathematically, after the weekend's results, a box ticked, that's done. But as you say, still a big few games in the Premier League for Crystal Palace before they concentrate on that European final. Integral, really, isn't it? Their part in the title race. They've got Manchester City tomorrow night. They've got Arsenal, the final game of the season. And I was asking Oliver Glasner about the integrity of the competition on Thursday at his news conference, and he answered saying it would be nonsense if Crystal Palace were criticised in that final game of the season against Arsenal, because he says the title has won over 38 matches and there's been lots of rotating of teams all through the season. He's here to do his best for Palace, not worry about anybody else. That has had, by the way, 9 million views, that comment, on X alone, and the vast majority of comments support his stand on that. He's not worried about whether or not he gets criticised for that final game of the season, but he can avoid any controversy, any raised eyebrows in win that final game of the season against Arsenal by getting just a point at the Etihad tomorrow night, because if they get just a point at the Etihad tomorrow night, that means Arsenal can win the title against Burnley on Monday, so there's no need for worry about what team he plays 3 days ahead of that conference final. So that's one incentive for Crystal Palace to maybe not rotate too heavily for that Manchester City game. The other is that they've still got plenty to play for in the Premier League. Points means places, places means pounds. If they win the next 3 games, not easy, Manchester City, Brentford, Arsenal, they'll be on 53 points, which is exactly the amount of points they had last season, their best ever Premier League points haul. So I'm sure that's part of the message he'll be giving to his players inside there.
And I wonder how much we might be talking about one particular player, Ismaila Sarr. He scored his 20th goal of the season at the weekend. How vital is he going to be over the next couple of weeks?
He's amazing form, isn't he? Yeah, 20 goals in 41 appearances for Crystal Palace this season in all competitions, 3 in his last 4 in all competitions, and particularly in the Conference League as well. 6 goals in the last 5 games in the Conference League, and he's the top scorer in that competition, any team, any player. So he's in absolutely superb form going into these final 3 matches and, of course, into the World Cup for Senegal in the summer. And I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people at Crystal Palace, and the fans were again singing Oliver Glasner's name on Thursday night after a sticky period, will be sorry to see Oliver Glasner go, because the players love playing for him. The atmosphere in there is all the players getting on, all the players love working for Oliver Glasner, and he gets the best out of players, he improves players. Sarr is one example, but there's Adam Wharton, there's Maxence Lacroix, there's JP Mateta, of course, Elise before that, Eza before that got big moves. So that's the reason why I think the form of Sarr and some of the other players, that he will have no trouble when he leaves here getting a top job. His name, of course, being linked at the moment with Chelsea.
Lovely stuff, Gary. Thank you very much. Now, former Spurs midfielder Jamie O'Hara says their draw with Leeds on the Monday Night Football was a big opportunity missed in the battle to avoid relegation from the Premier League. Spurs could have gone 4 points clear of West Ham with victory. Instead, the gap is just 2 points with 2 games left.
It might be a good point, it might be a bad point. I didn't think it was a great point, because I thought Leeds were there for the taking. And Leeds have been brilliant this season, and credit to them. They've had a really good season, and they're a good side since November when they went to a back 3. They've really, really come on strong. But they've had injuries, you know, the season's kind of almost over for them. I didn't think they was at the races really last night. I thought they was OK. But we were there to try and put in a big performance. We were terrible. We were terrible. The pressure got to us. It was a bad performance all over the park.
Well, Spurs have taken just 12 points from their 18 home games this season, a stark contrast to their away form, where they rank 5th in the table. Almost 70% of their points have come on the road, and O'Hara says the atmosphere at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last night didn't help the players.
When Leeds scored, obviously Sky do the panning shots, right? When you do the pan, people have got their heads in their hands. It's 1-1. Like, we're not getting beat 3-0. It's 1-1. Like, we're still in the game. There's still loads of time. You know, it is not a complete disaster. And we see it at Arsenal this season. I've dug Arsenal out this season, their fans, for making them feel pressure. You know, they're making them feel pressure when they're at home and they're on their backs. Last night, the Spurs fans were the same. Too much is like head in your hands moments when it's not going your way. We're in a dogfight. The performance weren't great, but we have got to have some kind of belief in the ground and some atmosphere in the ground to say, when it's not going our way, back the team even more. And, you know, people say, oh, he got a touch on it. I can't see where there's a touch on the ball. I cannot see it. It's clumsy. It is so clumsy. I don't see any movement. Like, normally, if you look at it, you say there's movement, the ball changes direction.
They're not the slightest movement.
Oh, come on. Is that enough?
Zoomed in on the replay. Hang on.
There's no... Don't touch the ball. He doesn't touch the ball. He doesn't touch the ball. Maddison, look, this tells you... oh, come on. That is a penalty. It's a pen.
Just
the more I see it, the more it's annoying me. The more I see it, the more it's annoying me. That is a penalty. And the problem we've got is the referees are not making decisions. They are not making decisions. They are relying on VAR to get them out of a hole. We've seen it so much, so many times. And the referee's got to be brave. I know it's a big moment. I know it's a huge call. But you've got to make the call. That is your job, to make the call. And then VAR will have a look at it. But the problem they've got is they're not making the call and relying on VAR, and VAR won't intervene if they don't think it's a clear and obvious error. That is the problem we've got in football right now. The referees are scared to make big calls, and they're relying on VAR. That's not what VAR's there for. VAR is not there to make the decision. The referee makes a decision. The referee makes the call, and VAR will tell him if he's got it wrong. That's what it's there for. But they're too reliant on the VAR making the call for them. And they're getting it wrong. And that last night, if the referee gives that as a pen, it does not get overturned. It doesn't get overturned. And no one would argue. They'd say, yeah, that's a penalty. It's ridiculous. I'm seeing, and it's not just Spurs. It's every team. It's every week. Big moments at the end of the season. I mean, the Matthias Tell one, the penalty, the overhead kick.
Yeah.
The referee doesn't even stop the game. It's a stone wall. It's a stone wall penalty. They're too scared. The referees are too scared to make big calls in big moments. The West Ham game, too scared to make a big call. And that is a problem. It's killing football. VAR is not there to make the decision for the referee. The referee has got to make a brave call, make a decision.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm glad we haven't got another hour of this because you're just getting more and more amped up. By the third hour, you're going to be steaming. You're going to be hitting the roof, aren't you? Thanks very much for sending us in your voice notes. We have got this one from Pad, who I think is a Leeds fan.
I'd be really, really worried if I were a Spurs fan. We didn't really have to get out of second gear. You know, we kicked on a little bit when they scored, but we didn't really have to do much. You can tell that we'd found out that we were safe. I can't see Spurs outscoring Chelsea or Everton last two games of the season. And if West Ham gets something against Newcastle, last game of the season for us against them, I think we'll probably be halfway to Ibiza. So I can really see Spurs going down.
Cheers, Pad.
I'd like to be halfway to Ibiza. Yeah, thanks, Pad.
I'll be moving to Ibiza if we go down.
I'll come with you if Arsenal don't win the league.
Oh, God.
I'll tell you what, though, when you look at the fixtures that are coming up, right?
Yeah.
Do you think the Chelsea game, Spurs get a point from that, then that will be enough?
Well, we don't know because they've got Newcastle, right? They got Newcastle, West Ham.
But if they draw with Newcastle only,
yeah, if they draw with Newcastle,
you're still very much in the box seat.
That means that we'll need potentially 2 points, right, to stay up. You know, Chelsea get a point.
No, you'll need 1 point. If you both draw, Spurs need 1 point in the last game of the season.
Yeah, so 2 points over the last two games. Yeah, so yeah, like we don't know how it's going to go. Like Newcastle away is a tough game for West Ham. You know, on paper, that you would expect Newcastle to win that, but Newcastle have been poor this season. And West Ham are no mugs, right? They are not a bad side. Chelsea, we never get a result, we never get a performance. You know, they've been terrible, so there's hope where you think, can we go there and make something happen?
So surely it's a good time to play Chelsea, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's for Spurs, it's never a good time to play Chelsea. It really isn't. Like, it's just not a good... We never get a result there. Can we produce something out in the ordinary? They've got an FA Cup final, you know, at the weekend, and then obviously then they've got to play us. So we don't know what state they're going to be in. You know, we've got 8 days to prepare for that game. They're preparing for the final. So that game really for them is irrelevant. The Premier League game's irrelevant for them. But it's because it's Spurs, it's going to be a huge game, right? So how do they approach that game? I don't know. It's so difficult to go at. You know, we got Everton on the last day of the season. Good team. David Moyes done really well there. You know, they might still be trying to get into Europe. We're terrible at home. We can't get results.
I think my point there was, I phrased it badly, was if you match West Ham's result in the next games, you against Chelsea, them against Newcastle.
Yeah, well, it's in our hands.
Then you go into the last game. You can draw the last game. Spurs can draw the last game.
Yeah.
And stay up. So doesn't that make a huge difference rather than having to win the last game to make sure you stay up?
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously it helps. You know, every point will matter come the last day of the season. You know, but it's a difficult one because how do you approach a game where you only need a point? Right? Joe, if you play Everton on the last day of the season, it can be... I'd rather... I don't know. I've played on the last day of the season to needing to win to get a result. And we stayed up in goal difference when we was at Wolves. And it was awful. It was awful. How do you approach the game? You go out there and how do you approach it? You don't know how you need to approach a game. You want to win, but you don't really need to win, you know, and it's difficult. Everton will want to win because they want the points. So it's awful. But obviously I'd love to go into the last day of the season, which I think it is going to be. with it in our hands. And if we can do that, then it's in our hands. And if we lose to Everton on the last day of the season and go down, well, then we deserve to go down. Simple as that.
Keep them coming, all of your voice notes, all your messages. Here's another one from Leeds fan Gary.
Spurs fans saying Leeds were there for the taking, so it's 2 points dropped. Very lucky that they didn't get any points yesterday. That save of Kinski was amazing. And yeah, we're disappointed as Leeds fans because it stopped 3 points from our quest for Europe.
Well, I think they maybe left it a bit late for Europe. But look, I think it was probably a bit harsh, saying that Leeds are there for the taking. Leeds are a good team. Ampadu, Rodon last night, I thought they were brilliant. They've got injuries and they still managed to put out a side who were, really energetic. And they made it, and they had the big chances. Probably the 2 biggest chances of the game fell to them. Kinski makes 2 world-class saves.
That's one of the best saves of the season.
I think, well, for me,
possibly the best.
I'm trying to think of one that's better. David Raya made one which was going in the top corner that he tipped over, which was a great save. Yeah. But, yeah, that's up there. I mean, in the moment that it's an incredible save. But, they do need to give credit to Leeds. They're a good side. Since November, they've been excellent. So it wasn't an easy game, but you still expect to win some home games. We won 2.
Is Ampadu quite underrated in the midfield for Leeds?
He was brilliant.
Watched him live.
He was brilliant last night. He really was. He's a fantastic football player. They got energy all over the park. He is absolutely fantastic for them. I thought Rodon last night was actually brilliant. Every time Richarlison looked to go and get him, he was really quick. They were sharp. And Leeds are a good team. They're a decent side. He's done a good job. There's talk of them getting rid of Daniel Farke at the start of the season, and he turned it around, changed the formation, and then gone from strength to strength. And they've ended up, Calvert-Lewin, what a great signing he's been for them on a free, So, look, fair play to them. They're a good team. They were not an easy side to play against. They're organised, hard to break down. They were up for it. I'm obviously gutted because I felt the points were there for us. You could see it. But after we scored, we fell apart. We fell apart. We really did. And Leeds grew into the game and become so much stronger. But players have got to be brave. The players have got to be brave. Like, I get it. It's stressful. I get it. You're at the bottom of the table. It's a horrible feeling. The players are not used to being there. The fans are not used to it. I get it. But players have got to show some character. Like, when we scored, everyone just went into their shell. No one wanted the ball. They're scuffing it. They're booting it out of play.
So that's not because of the fans, is it? Because at that point, the fans are up, aren't they? When you score.
Well, they were. Well, they were. But then once they saw it, once they saw the players getting nervous, that breeds into the fans, and then the fans get nervous. The players have got to be brave enough to say, I'm going to get on the ball. I'm going to make us tick. I'm going to make us happen. Move the ball quick, 2-touch, pass, keep moving. The problem was no one got hold of the ball. No one was getting hold of the ball. We kept giving it away, and all of a sudden Leeds go, they've gone. And then what happens? Leeds start creating chances, they get on top, and then that's it. Spurs fell apart. The structure, everything that De Zerbi has been working on just went out the window, and we was out there hoping to get a result without any real structure or pattern to our play. And that's where leaders in a group, in a dressing room, like Polinia, like Conor Gallagher, like Van der Ven, calm. Have some calm on the ball. Be patient. You're winning the game 1-0. Relax, move the ball and keep it moving. The problem is because we're so nervous about what's at stake, the players they're too much pressure. They can't handle the pressure. They have got to handle the pressure. Just go out there with an ego. I know it sounds bad, right? But just go out there like you don't care. Go out there like you don't care. Because the best
players...
That's
why they take the pressure off.
Well, yeah, because the best players at the highest level have an ego, right? And you go, well, he's arrogant. It's not arrogant. It's an inner belief, confidence that you're the best player. The players have got to go out there, and I know that sounds stupid, but you've almost got to go out there like you don't care. I'm going to go and play. I'm playing, regardless. I'm going to go out and get on the ball. I'm going to go and make things happen. Moani, he's playing like he's playing Championship football next season. He's on loan. He's going back to PSG. If we go down, he's not going to be at Tottenham anyway. So why is he playing like he's going to lose half his contract? Palhinha's the same. Palhinha's on loan. We ain't signed him. So if anyone should be confident on the ball, it should be them.
It's a huge couple of games coming up